Hello, Internet, and you welcome once again to the Always Online podcast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things multiplayer related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magicman, as always, and it is Friday, April 15th, 1 p.m. Eastern, so of course, we're doing the show live, twitch.tv/MMOBomb. We've got chat ready to chime in on a bunch of topics, and hopefully you can visit us live sometime as well. If not, we appreciate you watching on YouTube on MMOBomb.com. That's the one that pays the bills, so make sure you get over there every once in a while. Say hi on some of the posts, news posts, check out the giveaways, first look videos, stuff like that. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, welcome. Give a like, give a comment, make sure you get your weekly bombs in there so we can share them on the show. We got a good one for you today. Joining me, first up, Mr. Troy Blackburn. How are you, sir?
Doing well, thank you. I think I've done more shows in the past month than I did in the 3 months previous to that. So I'm back again. You're welcome, people.
And you'll be on Gaming Gumbo tomorrow over on Ready Check Radio as one of the new steady hosts over there. Always
so much Noob Fridge.
Yeah, it's a lot of Noob Fridge. Chad already talking about. That's a lot of Noob Fridge. Metallica fan with the sub. Thank you so much. I'll give you the cheers and the disco lights afterwards. If you have never joined us on Twitch, by the way, we are 25 away from 3,000 followers. So consider clicking that little follow button. It's cheap. Free. Joining us also, one of our other new staff members. Last week we met Aspen Pash. Rose Hapa. Now we meet Anthony Jones. You can find him on Twitter at AntJonesWriter, where he is sharing all the goodness. Welcome to MMO Bomb. You've had a couple of weeks. How's it going so far, my friend?
It is going. I am honestly just glad to be here, and I hope I can contribute to the team a lot. And thank you for bringing me on.
Hey man, you're gonna be here all the time. He'll be part of our regular rotation of hosts. So. Part of the Troy, Q, Rose, me, that type of thing. And then we've got Jason and Zach and then Wilfredo on the side as guest hosts. I'll tell you what, though, Anthony, the couch looks comfortable, man.
Couch.
That is a comfort.
The
cat. I see the cat. Troy's got the dog. Anthony brings the cat. Chat throwing the welcome Anthony's. Give the welcome Anthony's. If you haven't been in chat for a little while, by the way, there are new emotes. Those are courtesy of Aspen, who did those. So we love those. Anthony, we always got to do this before we get started and slide over to the news. We've got to talk about your video game that got you into gaming in general, and then your online one, whether that be like an MMORPG or something like that. So what game kicked off the passion for video gaming for you?
I knew this question was coming, so the whole entire week I was thinking about it, and I was going between games, and then finally I decided that for me, it is probably Final Fantasy 12. It was probably the first PlayStation 2 game I played, and the first one that kind of really challenged me because the OG version that we got in the US, it had like a very convoluted and complex system in place for the battle system. And it really challenged me. And I just enjoyed the world, the characters. And I mean, there's a lot of negative quotes about Final Fantasy 12. But all in all, I think it gained its place on the mainline titles, and it kind of just kickstarted it all for me.
Final Fantasy 12. I did not expect, I knew you were a Final Fantasy guy, much after my own heart, a JRPG guy, but I wouldn't have expected such a late one in the series. Although it does kind of make sense, though. If you look back at Final Fantasy 12's combat system, which you referenced, it is very, MMO-ish. It is very, single-player MMO-ish, so... the cat thing makes up for being an FF12 guy, says chat. That's a Kyle saying. All right, so then if that was I love gaming now, what one brought you into the online world, MMORPG, or just, multiplayer with your friends type deal?
I don't even remember the actual game, actually. It was because when I first started playing MMOs, it was more so the 2D games that I played first before I went to more the 3DS kind of WoW MMOs. And I want to say it was called like Win Something, and I just remember like I used to like PvP in that game a lot, and I just don't remember what it was called. But it was similar to like Lawtail and
Oh
Maple
wow,
Story
yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that.
You're
but-
going back to the 2Ds.
yeah. That was my first one. But after that, Final Fantasy 14. I mean, it took my heart.
Enjoying 6.1 so far?
Yes, I am. And I just got to say, this next kind of build up, like I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, we're not going to be talking about we will talk about Final Fantasy on today's show, Final Fantasy 14, but we will not be talking about 6.1 for those of you that have just started. Honestly, my April is so freaking busy. I have not even had a chance to boot it up. I'm hoping to get some time tomorrow with it finally. The last couple of days have just been hectic. So we won't be talking about 6.1. You don't have to worry about spoilers. In fact, on Ready Check Radio, there is no Relic Grind show this Monday. We'll be back next Monday where we'll do our full 6.1 patch review. Before we get started with the news, let's find out what's in the box. Now, I know who this is from, but I don't know, and I have an idea of what it is, but I don't know for sure what it is. It's not like I've seen a picture. So those of you that have been following our coverage and were here last week on Always Online know that we talked Black Desert Online. And we're talking about their Eternal Winter expansion, which we then streamed after the show. Well, we put up an interview this past week with Jesse Jew over at the head of the games division over there for Black Desert Online at Pearl Abyss. So that interview is up on mmobomb.com. Go check it out. It's a great interview. They didn't answer all my questions, but, whatever. It happens. They wouldn't talk monetization is what was going on. I was trying to figure out, why have you guys never just gone free to play, Troy? Black Desert Online is usually on sale for $3.
Right. Just finish removing that barrier. Just make it free. Let's be done with it.
Why have you never gone free to play? And they were kind of like, we're not ready to talk about that. So maybe there's something in the works. I don't know. We'll see. But the rest of the interview is great. It was very nice chatting with them. So this is from Pearl Abyss. I know that much. And it is Eternal Winter related. So we'll see. We'll see what it is. A chat guessed that it's a picture frame before the show. Oh my God, I can't even open the damn thing. Okay, so we got, it looks like a chocolates box, right? Yeah. They sent me a Black Desert Whitman sampler. That's awesome, Troy. Actually, it's really freaking sturdy. It is a hard box. It's kind of canvasy. I'll get that in there so you can see the texture. And it is weighty. Oh, wow. I don't know what's in it. All right, so what do we got here? We've got a little welcome letter giving me Steam keys for the Game Pass and the Eternal Winter Steam key. That's funny because you could have, up until yesterday, gotten that stuff for free. And claimed it for life. That's another thing. They run those promos, Troy, where they give the damn game away.
I'm pretty sure that's where I got mine. A friend of mine that plays Black Desert was like, "Hey, bro, it's free right now. You might want to go pick it up so you can try it with me." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah. Goofy. So what is this? It's an honor to introduce you to Eternal Winter, our latest expansion and new beginning to our MMORPG Black Desert. In this next chapter of Black Desert, you'll be able to explore a new winter-themed region called Mountain of Eternal Winter. You'll get to meet new allies and rivals, explore brand new hunting grounds, and embark on a host of activities, including new boss fights, ice fishing, and snowboarding. We realize that MMOs can be daunting for new players to enter when they see all the content that was added over the years, which is why Eternal Winter is different. In this expansion, new players will be able to start leveling in the Mountain of Eternal Winter right away. Yeah, we did that on stream last week, and a lot of people were surprised. I knew because I had done a preview stuff with them. And that you could just jump right into the expansion as level 1. We've also developed... Yeah, we got to level 24, and we killed 1 yak. On stream. We've gotten to 24, killing 1 yak. We've also developed a unique introductory quest line that will guide the players through the secrets behind Mountain of Eternal Winter in a streamlined, more accessible questing experience with a new set of immersive cutscenes, regardless of whether you have played Black Desert before or not. I hope you enjoy the game and make unforgettable memories. Furthermore, you can look forward to playing our new class, the Dracania, a dragon's descendant who sets everything ablaze with her roaring lightning. Right up my alley, but we did not roll that. We rolled a Corsair. Thank you for taking the time to check out Eternal Winter. We hope you have a blast. From Jahi Kim, Pearl Biss's executive producer. And on the back, it says a certificate of authenticity, edition number 243 out of 300. Product info, fine art print on metal, and it's signed by the master printer. So let's see what we got here. This thing, wow, this is weighty. That is, all right. So that's the back. Lovely piece of wood. They've sent me lumber. They have sent me lumber. Just lumber. Nice wood. hey, whoa, Anthony. Whoa. Don't you talk about my wood, son. On this side, though, printed on the metal. This is pretty awesome, actually.
That's dope.
This is pretty cool. Yeah, you were right in it. It's not a frame, but it is printed on. I mean, that looks amazing. Let me get close to the bad guy for you there. And apparently there are 300 of these, and I now have one. I have number, what did I say? 243 out of 300. That is beautiful. You know, we get artwork and stuff like that a lot. Neverwinter sends us posters and things like that. I don't think I've ever been sent something this heavy and weighty in the art category by a company. Black Desert, thank you, obviously, for that. That is absolutely beautiful. We'll get that hung up right away. Actually, I don't even know if I want to hang it, Troy. There's only 300 of them. I might be able to retire on that. A couple more years. Increase in value. Sell my Black Desert frame. Never see my...
Next weekend, they'll give those out for free.
You shut up. They better not. But thank you to Pearl Abyss. That's absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It is a nice looking print, and it's heavy and weighty. Let's say you get started with the news. Here we go. All right, so we got some interesting items, some kind of like sidebar, tangential type stuff to go through this week that I thought was kind of interesting. Because, you know, I do the show notes, so if I like it, I put it in. If I don't like it, I don't put it in. Although there is something that I've put in at the end of the show, the question of the week, and I've put it in for a very specific reason, because it has to do with something Anthony wrote this week, that as I was proofreading and editing, I was like, well, he's pretty opinionated on this one. He's pretty we're going to talk about that, definitely. So we'll get your opinions in the question of the week, but we'll end with Anthony's opinions on it. So first off, for you Final Fantasy XIV fans, check this out. There is now an actual asteroid, like a real one, right? Not that buying a star. Yeah. Troy, anybody ever buy a star for you? Name a star.
Not that I'm aware of. I hope not.
Celestial body noob fridge.
Unless if you're gonna name it noob fridge, then go for it. Let's go.
This is actually done by a Reddit user named Rukon Guy, who went ahead and listed an asteroid with the name Yoshida Naoki, all one word. And here you are looking at the rough location of said asteroid. And let's just hope it stays near the sun. I mean, Yoshi P does, Anthony, have a bit of a history with celestial bodies crashing into planets, let's say. So let's just hope this stays around. This actually made like major news in Japan, where Yoshi P was interviewed on like Daily Show morning shows over there, talking about, hey, you now have an asteroid over there. You can legitimately go find it in NASA's data bank. It is a real thing, Takao. 100% a real thing. What a nice thing to do as a fan to show some appreciation, right? That's cool, Anthony.
Yeah, it definitely is cool. I mean, I think about how it might have affected him when he heard about it too, because this has been like something that's been long in the making. He's very emotionally tied to it. And I think it's like very enlightening to know that other people are just as tied to it and also
Yeah.
just tied to him as well, to the point where it's coming into real life. So it's definitely really nice to see. I don't really see it a lot with other different developer and player relationships.
Yeah, nobody's
today.
buying or naming asteroids after Blizzard employees right now.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was just fixing to say the next one is going to be named Bobby Kotick because everybody loves him so much.
That will be the one that's like collision course with the Earth. I like this too. Lord Locke in chat saying, "Oi, next thing you know, they're going to be naming planets and stars after Greek or Roman myth." Sheesh.
how dare they?
How dare they? Look, Mars is in here. Oh, wait. Terra Nova says, when my dad passed, I got a star named after him for my nephew, as he believes when people pass, they become stars. See, now that's a little different to me than the whole buying stars thing, because that's like, you're buying it not so much for the star, but for the sentiment behind it because of a belief. I never understood, like, the companies that sell those stars and things like that, those companies, like, come and go. Like... So do you own the star anymore? I don't know. How does that work? Is it Star Troy Blackburn anymore if the company goes under? Like, this is legitimately going to be Yoshida Naoki till the end of time, or until it, crashes into something and doesn't exist anymore. But I don't know. Terra Nova, I like the sentiment behind what you got there. He did Anthony, to your point though, like Yoshi P has always had a lot of public support, and sometimes it, as a fan, a deep fan, sometimes I think it does allow him to escape criticisms that maybe, should be leveled in certain cases. But as far as his emotional tie, I mean, he said years ago, quote, "It was more than the story that made me emotional. It was also the fact that players live within this world and have everyday experiences." It's always been about the players for him, even the mentality behind the way they designed the MMO.
Right. I mean, it's just so ingrained into the way that the game is designed that it's very shocking.
Yeah.
And in comparison to WoW, like it's more so about, the end game, where Final Fantasy, it is the journey. And through that journey, you end up getting caught up in all the emotion of like what's happening. And then you end up learning about the developers and that commitment to it. And it just pulls you in. It's weird, but it does that.
It hasn't done it with Troy, though. We can't convince him to stick with 14.
I mean, like I said, 14's an acquired taste. I would say, it's not for everybody. But I think for people who want to stay, there's something in there for you, I believe.
Troy, what's your deal with 14? Like, you don't mind subs. You've paid subs. You don't care about that if it's something you like. You like MMOs. You like theme park MMOs. I know you're more of a sandbox guy, but you don't, hate theme park MMOs. How has 14 never caught on for you in some way? Like, even if it was like your tier 2 or tier 3 game behind, Smite or New World for that, 4 days? 5 days it was your favorite game? I don't know. It's like something like that.
Just can't. A Realm Reborn, I just can't get out of it. I can't get past it, and I'm not sure what it is. The story, I don't care. I've followed it. I read it, watch the cutscenes, the voiced parts. There's just nothing interesting going on there for me. And I think I've somewhere along the way, I'm either under-leveled or out-leveled the story. I'm sort of out of sync with it, and I'm running back and forth from one zone to the next.
Has it been a while since you've played then?
It's probably been 6 months since the last time I tried it.
Oh, I wouldn't have expected it to be that recently, because with the change, it's still a little bit of a slog there. I wouldn't disagree.
Back when Asmund and everybody was
not a lot
switching
though.
over.
Like, there's some people that are just like, this is ridiculously slow. I'm like, I just follow the damn story. You'll be out of it in a couple of hours. Shut up.
Yeah, it was just a slog for me.
Because Troy thinks if it ain't Bless, it ain't nothing. Oh, that's right. I forgot. That was one of his favorite games.
Yes, of all time. Number 1 at the top of the list. Somebody ban Baron out of chat.
Dude, that's a good. Whoa. Okay.
Moderators,
Hold on.
Moderators. Where are the moderators?
Takal does bring up a good point, but you love SWTOR, dude. Well, not right now. You're mad at them and you're boycotting them because of the latest expansion. Not right now, but you do love SWTOR. And I would argue that there are quite a few points in SWTOR that are far more slog than anything you'll find in 14, even going back and doing a Realm Reborn stuff.
The expansion stuff can be a slog. The difference the difference from that is that SWTOR's, the first stories that you start out with are for the most part pretty darn good. There's a couple that aren't all that great, but for the most part, the stories that you start out with and you're following along as you're leveling up are the best stories. It's the expansions that kind of turn into a slog for that game.
Whatever. Speaking of Blizzard, yay. So you know that whole California lawsuit thing, right? And then the EEOC did the settlement, and the WFH in California didn't like the settlement, and then a judge said, "You're all being babies, get the hell out of my office." And they settled for $18 million with the EEOC, which was like, pennies as far as Blizzard's concerned. And then, so we're like kind of watching the California lawsuit as we head up to Microsoft's potential buying of the company. Well, there was some drama in that this week, because why the hell not? Let's add some drama to the drama to the drama.
Because this will never end. Oh my God.
It will never end.
Never.
So the Assistant Chief Counsel for the Department of Fair Housing and Employment, that is the organization bringing the lawsuit from the state of California against Activision Blizzard, they quit. They quit. Why? Well, because Chief Counsel Jeanette Whipper was fired. Why? Well, the allegations on the assistant chief resigning say that California's governor, Gavin Newsom, is interfering with the lawsuit by firing the chief counsel, Jeanette Whipper. And so that then led to Melanie Proctor saying, "Peace, I'm out." So those are the top two people involved in this lawsuit. Governor fires one. The subordinate quits, saying governor's interfering. That would just be silly, right, Anthony? I mean, our politicians are honest. They would never interfere with investigations that involve rich friends, rich people they have heard of. They would never interfere like this, right? These allegations have to just be ridiculous.
I'm just gonna say that ever since this whole situation popped up, I just knew in the back of my head there's gonna be backed actors the whole way through every lawsuit, through every conversation, every announcement, every PR stunt. There's going to be bad actors, people who don't want to, have it to where the people who were in charge actually get the repercussions that they're due, because the workers, they kind of just have to deal with it. And I don't believe there wasn't something involved that made it turn out the way it did, to where those two walked away. Or, one got fired and one walked away.
One walked away, one was driven away. Like, they put one on the bus and said goodbye.
Goodbye. When any subordinate really walks away because of, somebody else got fired, I feel like there's something really telling in all that. And we won't ever hear about it because, we won't.
Yeah, you're right. We already aren't. So, like, Bloomberg was all over this. Polygon was all over us. They were, like, buzzing questions to the DFEH and things like that. So, Bloomberg's report, Troy, said that Proctor, the person who quit, Melanie Proctor, informed staff of Newsom's interference with the lawsuit, saying that the lawsuit began, quote, mimicking the interest of Activision's counsel, and that Whipper was fired because she was trying to protect the investigation. Then when Polygon reached out to the DFEH for comment, they refused all comments. They just said, hey, we continue to vigorously enforce California's civil rights and fair housing laws. The communications director for the DFEH said, Aaron Mellon did make a statement that just said, hey, all these claims categorically false.
Categorically false. I'm with Ninja Pandas on this one. This sounds like absolute blatant corruption. This sounds like Bobby Kotick and the governor.
Like, even if it's
really
not
buddies,
even if it wasn't, though, you can't possibly for a minute, Troy, think that you are not going to escape the optics of it looking like corruption. Like, even if it's not.
I mean, that's exactly because to people like me, it screams that this is absolutely corruption. That's what it looks like to me. Opinion, people. My opinion is it looks like absolute corruption. And it looks like that Bobby Kotick is going to get off without punishment. It looks like Activision Blizzard is trying to get off without any punishment. As was quoted, it looks like that the governor's office is leaning towards the ideals and the wants of Activision Blizzard, not the people. The governor's supposed to represent the people, not Activision Blizzard. Is he going to just be their lawyer now?
I mean, it's odd to see, though. It's odd to see, though, isn't it? Like, California is generally considered a more liberal state here in the United States. Its legislation and its legislative bodies are generally considered to be more liberal and more favoring of, like, ACLU stuff and LGBTQ stuff and harassment stuff. Like, they favor that side of the political spectrum. And then to see this, it's kind of like, even if you fired that person for a good reason, how on earth did you think this wasn't going to look like Bobby Kotick was playing Moneyball? Oh! For those of you that have ever seen the Moneyball movie, you know why that was a good reference. Let me just pat myself on the back there. Pat myself on the back. I know. I don't need you to tell me, son. Anyway, that's what's going on in the world of Blizzard. We'll continue to watch it. We do have actual Blizzard news on the site, so you can go check that out. Next week, of course, we have World of Warcraft's expansion reveal on the 19th. We got to see finally Sojourn in action over in Overwatch 2, about time. So there is a ton of, oh, by the way, Hearthstone's expansion launched as well. So there is actual game news from them. Check it out over on mmobomb.com. Bungie... Anthony, Bungie's doing a little kind of a about face when you compare it to maybe Activision Blizzard and Riot, who have both in the past weeks been very pushy about getting their employees back into the office. Mask mandates and vaccine stuff aside, which is what they took a bunch of flack for. They just want people in the buildings. Bungie kind of going a different way, huh?
Yeah, they're definitely going a different way. I feel like the great thing about the pandemic, even though it was so much negativity, is that it really brought into question, what other benefits that people need that they aren't getting because of, before then, everybody's just, going to office. And I think this initiative by Bungie kind of prompts, other companies to start thinking, okay, we have workers who could work from home, that work best from home. Could we offer them a contract of some sort? From them working from home. And I think pushing people back into office is really not a great move. Even if the pandemic wasn't around, I feel like you're just forcing people to go into a particular work environment, especially if they started at the company remote. And I just feel like it contradicts how they've been working so far, when some people just work better at home versus, in person. But the initiative, it does a lot of good. I like the fact that they kind of said that, more states are, planned, and the reason why they couldn't, do more states because of taxes, and just how there is some unannounced projects tied to the remote opportunities, put out there. And I just think they're doing a very good move right now, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, and it was pretty much like everybody at a high level, Troy, kind of jumped on it. We had Bungie CEO Pete Parsons adding commentary, just saying, this is absolutely great. Over the past 2 years, we've redefined how we work here at Bungie. The transition to work from home wasn't easy, but the results just speak for themselves. Today, it's clear that a digital-first workplace isn't the future of work. It's already here, and we are all in. Game director Christopher Barrett, who is game director of their unannounced project, said that multiple remote positions are open for the unannounced title from the studio, and they are just looking at this as a huge benefit for employees who work best within their homes. And maybe this alleviates some of the natural, daily responsibilities that we all battle with trying to go from work. Now, I have worked, disclosure, for my day job and MMO Bomb. I've been a home worker for 12 years now. I haven't put on pants. Like, I have no idea when the last time I wore pants was. I don't wear pants podcasting. You can't see my legs anyway. Who cares? So like, COVID wasn't a change for me or anything. But Troy, you've kind of gone back and forth, like been a home worker for various stuff and then had to be out in the field for various stuff. Do you work best when left to kind of your own devices in your house? Because there is that like mentality that some people have where it's like, man, how much work would I really do if I was just sitting in my house?
I do actually get more work done at home. That way, because I prefer to be able to work at my own hours. And for me, it's usually I'm a night owl. Later at night, like super early in the morning before the sun comes up, is usually when I do my best stuff. So I absolutely thrive at a work from home environment. But my wife, however, does not. She works from home now, and it kills her. It's not that she doesn't get stuff done; it's the social aspect. She likes to interact with other human beings, which I don't understand at all. But she likes to get out there, and she has to talk to people and meet people. So we're actually going to purchase an office here in town here in the next few months, so that her and her partner can go and meet at the office and have the social interaction.
Chat chiming in on this to Cal saying, literally sitting here awarding government contracts in a wife beater and some PJ bottoms. And then Raging Alcoholic does bring up an interesting point that you kind of alluded to, Anthony, in the piece, because Bungie was asked, like, why aren't you doing this in more states? And Raging in chat kind of saying the same thing. Like, the laws in different states kind of make work from home hard in some instances based on limitations, hours you can work, et cetera, et cetera. And Bungie specifically addressed that in their CEO's tweets.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I mean, I feel like the fact that, the CEO mentioned that, and also there's a push to go and do that, it kind of calls into question, what laws for those particular states might change because of it, or what particular types of remote contracts could you see in like this company now starting today. So it's something to look out for, I would say, for people interested in Bungie's IPs and would like to join the team.
I like it.
I wish Bungie would make up their mind whether they're going to be the good guy or the bad guy, because this is amazing, right? This is outstanding news. But then for the player base, they introduce, like, they're all the time doing updates that are like screwing over the player base in some way. Can you just be the good guy? Like, this is awesome. Can we have more of this for the players, please? Thank you.
Last thing on this, some former Ultima devs breaking into a new gaming studio called Demeta. Demeta. Not to be confused with a Da-Bomb. This is Demeta. It's a U.S. arm of a bigger company called De Horizon.
What a dumbass name.
That was a good one.
Todd Porter, former Ultima developer and founding producer of Dungeons & Dragons, announced the launch of the new company. You might also be interested to know that he's partnered up with Richard Garriott,
whose name just never goes away in MMORPG news, even though he hasn't been relevant since the Ultima days. Yeah.
The studio is billing itself as being committed to becoming the next generation of metaverse game ecosystems. You heard right. NFTs, blockchain technology, another one of these. Still no word on Shroud of the Avatar fucking people over. I mean, screwing people. I mean, not doing exactly what they... I mean...
They just couldn't make all of the money, so now they're moving on to something else. If you need any more proof that all they care about is how much money they're going to make on something, that the passion for the gaming industry is actually gone and dead inside of them, they've moved on to blockchain. There's no other example that you need. That is the ultimate epitome of we don't care about anything except money, is now we're going blockchain. Just let it go, let it die.
Yeah, so can we talk about Shroud of the Avatar for a minute? Because Shroud of the Avatar, many of you know, Richard Garriott was involved, still technically is involved from everything I'm able to parse out. He just isn't as publicly, commenting about it. Shroud of the Avatar kind of escaped my wrath when it came to MMO Bomb's coverage of it. Because remember, MMO Bomb until like July or August of last year was only free to play as far as what we covered on the site and things like that. And Shroud of the Avatar didn't fit that mold. It's not that we weren't aware of it and just like watching it with absolute like eyes bugging out of our heads. We have written a couple articles about it since then, since the conversion, but it is a game that I just generally, if there's a piece and I'm like, hey, Anthony, write this up. If I get a better piece, like even by a fraction of an inch, I'm like, Anthony, forget that one. Throw it away. Throw Shroud of the Avatar away. Write this one instead. Like, it is such a mess. My disdain for it could not be any bigger. And now here we have Richard Garriott basically rolling into another project, now looking at NFT. It just seems like money-making scheme after money-making scheme to me. And I mean, maybe those are scams, maybe they aren't. I don't know. I'm not going to call Shroud of the Avatar a scam, but I am going to say it felt damn scammy enough to me that I didn't want to take part in investing in it or buying anything from it.
And I've got a first look of it up on the YouTube channel, which was overall pretty positive, but at the time the game was still being developed and it looked like it was still possibly going somewhere.
Right. Yeah. It's... Ugh. He just, I don't know if you guys feel the same about Richard Garriott. Like, obviously, I can look back at somebody's history and respect some things that they did. There's a difference between looking back and respecting Ultima and looking back and respecting Richard Garriott. Like, those are two different things for me, Anthony. Yeah. But he kind of falls into the bucket lately over the last X decades as like Peter Molyneux, right? Like, every time they open their mouth, I'm just like, shut up. Shut up. Stop it.
When I see his name attached to any project nowadays, I literally roll my eyes physically every time.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my God, this guy, really?
You used to kill to have his name associated with a project of yours, and now... ugh.
I mean,
but people still throw his name out like it means something.
Yeah. I mean, he basically
went to space.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just saying he went to space.
He went to space. I mean, I was basically just saying, like, the fact that he has this reputation and there is this push into, blockchain technology at such a time where gamers are actually, it's not back in 06 where microtransactions and stuff like that were just, raring up and people didn't know anything. Now people know. And it's like, it's not really doing you any favors, I feel.
Right.
So it's a hairy situation to be in, to tag it on to your project. And I mean, I can only, from just history so far, I can only assume scam.
When did Shroud actually go free? Like, when did that do either of you remember?
No, I have no idea.
I'm not sure.
Obviously, it had to.
He's the Dallas Cowboys of MMO devs.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm sitting here in the back of my head agreeing 100% with everything Cal's saying right now.
It's on fire today. My man is on fire. I think Jay-Z's line from the Takeover suits Gary at best. You had a spark when you started, now you just garbage. He's on fire. Somebody put some water on that dude in chat, man. He's on fire. All right. Let's get to the topic I really want to talk to Anthony about. Because
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. It's also going to lead into our question of the week towards the end of the show for all of you. We all know in World of Warcraft, the classic servers, right? We're kind of heading into the Wrath of the Lich King era. And Troy, this was our era, by the way, of World of Warcraft. Is there any impulse to maybe go look at it?
No. Nothing Blizzard is on my radar right now.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, and I also think back and I'm like, it's not going to be the same. Like I didn't get sucked into classic. Anyway, what we really want to talk about is the same thing that they did back when Burning Crusade was added to the classic servers. They're going to do again with Wrath of the Lich King. And that is give you the ability to boost straight to that expansion's content. So if you haven't been playing Classic or playing Classic Burning Crusade, I assume you will have the same type of decision to make that you did when Burning Crusade was there, like whether you want to stay on the vanilla server or migrate that character over to a Burning Crusade server. I assume we'll probably get more details about this next week, actually, when they talk about the World of Warcraft expansion reveal, too. But they are talking about boosting again, and they sent out surveys to players to kind of gauge their feedback on the idea of boosting and, more importantly for them, cost. They highlight 2 purchasable options players are going to be able to choose from, one starting at $49.99 and the other being $29.99. The highest price package comes with a new toy and a one-time character and Death Knight level boost. The other option includes a giftable one-time character level boost, a character transfer, a pet companion, 30 days of game time, and new transferable mounts between modern and classic WoW. Now, here's the thing. I want to take this away from just the general discussion of Lich King Classic. Because if you read the article, which I highly suggest you do, Anthony wrote it up on MMO Bomb. It's there. You can go see it. Anthony there was a little bitter. There was a little bitter in there that I don't think you like the idea of boosting in any game. I mean, you spoke about it in the context of this game, but it seems like you are not a fan of boosting characters. Would that be fair to say?
That would be fair to say. And I want to go back to what Troy said about FF, A Realm Reborn, and how it's such a slog to go through. And people feel the incentive to like boost to get to where the game is really at. And I don't really like boosting too much. I really like it because I feel like it really just saps like what the game is like for. You know, you're there to play, you're there to go from start to finish. And I feel like WoW's classic is that it's supposed to be this, relive it, go through, the cities, go through the dungeons, fight these bosses, participate in these type of events. And I feel like, why would you give the incentive to boost if, Wrath of the Lich King was like, this legacy? I feel like you would want to re-experience it. And I just feel like it just came off as a cash grab, honestly, to me, just to make some money on it. Because honestly, truly, I believe the classic should have just been free. But
so when you look at it in the context of a classic server, something like World of Warcraft doing their classic servers, or like EverQuest doing classic servers and things like that. Like, right. I kind of see where you're coming from here on, well, Troy, if you're playing on a classic server, then clearly you wanted to go back and re-experience this stuff. Why would you boost through it? But let me give you this counter argument and see what you think. Should boosting just generally be available, though? Like in this specific instance, maybe you look at it and you go, that doesn't make sense. I'm paying for that experience. Why would I boost through it? But what about I play Final Fantasy XIV for X years and then I get away from it? And I want to come back, but my friends are, 20 levels beyond me. I'm not coming back for the specific the story experience that I missed while I was out. I'm coming back to play with my friends. You okay with a boost there, or do you still think paying that money takes something away from the player?
It's definitely a hard discussion to have because I see the positives of boosting. You know, it does bring you to the level of friends or, you know, someone coming back, or in the case of WoW, having multiple different alts. You know, I feel like there is some benefit having boosting. But
So I guess for you then it depends on what the player's looking for in the game.
It definitely depends. But I mean, in the case of WoW, I can't really subscribe to the way that they boost because I feel like having the whole alt system and knowing that people are going to want to run different things, I feel like the design is the problem. Like that restriction, you know, making people want to boost further.
Yeah.
But in the form of classic, I mean, I just don't think those things. I think it just needs to stay in retail. But I mean, that's just my opinion.
Troy, where do you fall on this?
I am 100% okay with boosting in MMOs. I have boosted several characters in several different games. If you don't want me to boost, don't put the real game at the end of the game. That's the way most MMORPGs are built. All the fun stuff is at the very end. You got to be max level to get it. To participate.
Yeah, but isn't that a flaw in design then? Isn't that like the developer saying, hey, the first 60 levels of my game are total crap, and I'm going to make you do it. But if you don't want to, you can go ahead and give me an extra $30, and I'm going to let you skip the crap.
Yeah, exactly. It probably is a design flaw, but it doesn't change the fact that that's the way it is, and that makes me okay with boosting because if I've got a few bucks to throw at it and I can skip all that, I'm more than willing to skip all that to get to the part that I want to play. It doesn't bother me at all.
So I've never bought a boost, but I have boosted characters. They usually like come from the devs they're like, hey, Blade and Soul has a new thing. You know, here's a boosted character so you can go check it out.
Silver Waste for 6 years.
Yeah, on Guild Wars 2, I'm famous for having multiple characters still in the Silver Waste that I boosted but haven't walked out of the zone so I can re-roll a different one if I want. One of them did. It's in Cantha. One of them did. Finally, we did it on stream. It's in Cantha. Yeah. I'm a Guild Wars 2 expert now. I know everything about that game. There's dragons. That's all I know. And this is the end of them. That's all I know. I'll tell you one thing I do hate about boosting. Anytime I've ever boosted, it actually turns me off to the character more because you just get overwhelmed, right? It's just every skill tree thing and ability, like all of it becomes unlocked, and you're just like, I'm gonna go look up a guide. Yeah. I'm gonna go look up a guide. Where you know I like the leveling experience in MMOs. That's like one of my favorite parts, actually. Like, I guess it's the endorphin rush, right? Ding, you leveled. I'm the best. But I like the leveling experience, and I also like learning the character and the class along the way. So boosting has its downside there for me. Chat chiming in here. Zach in chat. Hey, what's up, Zach? Boosted characters, but still subscribe to the idea that devs have successfully convinced you that the journey isn't fun. Only checklists are. And by you, I mean the masses. Terra Nova saying boosting alts I feel is fine, but boosting from the start, I don't do you're missing too much. If the game is good enough, I'll just play it without the need to boost. Why focus on endgame? Because leveling is not infinite. I agree with Mike. Welcome to the cast, Anthony. Oh, what's that? That's Wilfredo welcoming you. I'm sure you'll be on a show with him soon. I actually tried to get him on next Friday, but his schedule is not conducive to being on next Friday. So, Troy, you might be on next Friday again.
One more time. Lots of new fridge.
Before we slide over, longer show today. Lots of good chat. Before we slide over, though, and do the weekly bombs, Troy, you did a first look for Midnight Ghost Hunt. That is up on the site. You can check it out. I do like that you were being eaten right off the top of this first look video. What's this game about, and what were some of your initial impressions?
Well, it's essentially a prop hunt, and it's not asymmetric. It's 4v4. So that was interesting to me. It's not like a 1v4 type scenario like so many games like that are nowadays. So you go in and you're prop hunting, and it's got a ghost hunters theme. So yeah, it did strike that Ghostbuster sort of nostalgia feel for me. But at the end of the day, it's a prop hunt.
So you are busting ghosts, but not
ghosts.
but not officially a Ghostbuster.
But not officially a Ghostbuster.
Gotcha.
And some of the weapons and stuff, like the gun that you start out with as a ghost hunter, it's like a modified leaf blower type thing. Like you literally pull a string to start it like a leaf blower. They've got some great aesthetics going on, and sort of the theme is kind of on point. It's kind of like a pasted on theme, but it still works well in the game itself. So I've had a lot of fun in it. It's been good times. It's $20 on Steam, and there is no cash shop at all in the game as of the time of my first look. Anyway, we'll have to keep an eye on that going forward. We'll see. But the ability to make your own custom loadouts and stuff is really fun. You can use different weapons and gadgets and have different passive abilities. I've been having fun playing it. Some of my friends have even jumped in.
Both of them?
Yeah, both of them.
All both of Troy's friends have jumped in. Yeah, I'm not really into prop hunters. I did get the same impression. Like, I didn't know it was a leaf blower, but when I looked at your first weapon, I was like, is that a fuel tank for a motorcycle? Like, what is that? What is that thing built off of? So I did appreciate watching your first look that the matches were short. Like, you basically have 5 minutes to find the ghosts, and then if you don't, it hits midnight, and they've got 4 minutes to kill you.
Yep,
like,
and then that's as long as it's going to go.
That's it. Win or loss is decided at that point. The one thing I will say, though, is in watching the first look, you pointed this out as far as if you were watching it, like somebody stream it.
Mm-hmm.
I even feel like not just watching it, but it felt boring as hell to play the ghosts for the first half of the match. Like, it is just, okay, I found a decent hiding spot, and they're on the other side of the map, so I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah, if you do find a good hiding spot and they're not finding you, that's absolutely the best scenario, is to just sit there. And it can get a little boring. It's definitely more to do when you're playing a hunter.
Here's the stellar footage. Look at it. Here's Troy hiding in an urn.
And that's all I did for like several minutes too.
Luckily, during the first look, he edits this. He shows it to you while he's explaining, the ectoplasm and why you have to move. And hey, if you find a good spot, this could be boring to watch. And then he cuts back to being a hunter.
I didn't want the first look to be like 5.5 minutes of just sitting in an urn, because that's what I did that game. From the beginning, I just sat in that urn. I think I moved around a couple times to make my ectoplasm go down. That way I wasn't as easy to detect. But for the most part, the entire game was me in that urn up top there.
Yeah, and you were the last one.
Yes, I was the last ghost.
You were the last one left.
And the only reason I had to move is because I was moving around a little bit to get rid of my ectoplasm, and one of the hunters saw me moving. That's the only reason I moved out of that spot the entire time.
Anthony, what did you think watching this first look?
I actually enjoyed these kind of 4v4 types of games because it really can be something that basically sets up more games in the future to kind of play around and do different like experimental things. I mean, I will say like the ghost section was boring, and I just think about like maybe there's like some type of like force field that the hunters can put down that kind of forces them to move out. Like I feel like more gadget oriented mechanics should be introduced to kind of make it more exciting in that aspect, is what I would say.
We do also have Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed coming, and that's going to be a bit of a different, it's not a prop hunt, but that's going to be a bit of a different thing. That's one of those asymmetrical gameplays for Ghostbusters against one ghost type deal. So, I mean, this thing might have come out at the wrong time, but I mean, if you're into it, cool. The prop hunting games have just never really done it for me. I tend to play a couple matches with a friend, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool. All right, yeah, that's getting uninstalled. I'm never going to play that again. Wasn't bad. I just got other shit to play. All right, let us know what you think in the comments below. We're going to slide over and get started with the weekly bombs. All right, Anthony, we're going to let you go last so you can see the kind of flow here. First time on the show. You're doing a tremendous job, by the way. Great job. I'm going to give an A-bomb to Ghost Crawlers. Let me proofread my own damn show notes. Ghost Crawlers comments about the League of Legends MMORPG in development over at Riot. Now, Ghost Crawler has kind of said, like, on his Twitter that this was like going to be the last, major project probably of his tenure as a video game person. And I could totally respect that, right? Like, he's been doing this for so long. If you want to go do something else, go do something else. But, and I also get tempering expectations. It's very important not to let the hype train surpass what might actually be delivered. Richard Garriott, Peter Molyneux, the people behind No Man's Sky. What's his name? Sean, because he's already touting up the next game that they're doing, and it's just like, oh my God, are we going to fall for this again? Please stop.
Yeah, are you going to completely?
You managed to recover No Man's Sky. Don't undo that. Don't undo that. So I get tempering expectations, but I think it might go a little too far when you say, hey, this game might never release. I mean, there's always that possibility, right? Like anything in development, particularly in an MMO, it might never release. That's just the reality of it. I'd like to think that when it comes to Riot making a League of Legends MMORPG, that they kind of have a solid plan for that and that it would release. So I'm going to give an A-bomb for maybe the over-tempering of expectations. Like, not just, hey guys, this might not be the next coming of MMORPGs, but no, we might cancel it. Like, I think that's a little too far. So I'm going to give an A-bomb there. What do you got, Troy?
I'm going to give an A-bomb to nostalgia this week because it got me, and it got me hard. And
what did you spend money on?
Luckily, I didn't spend money on anything, but I got, and the bug has still bit me a little bit, and I got a feeling I'm not going to be able to do anything about it except download the game and just play again to get it out of my system. But I was watching YouTube the other day, and I don't even remember what channel I was watching, what video I was watching, but there was a clip of an MMO. And then, because they were talking about MMOs, and I was like, man, this actually looks pretty decent. Like, this looks cool. Like, I got to figure out what this game is. This looks like something I would like. And then I shit you not, the Rift logo goes across the screen.
No.
And I'm like, oh my God. Now I've just reconfirmed to myself that everything about the look from the outside looking in of what that game used to be, and even sometimes is, got me so hard. I was like, man, this game was meant for me. Too bad it went down the path that it went down. So now I'm not going to have any choice but to download the game. So A-bomb.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Man. Raging Alcoholic saying don't do it. It isn't. They're right. It isn't anything like what it was when you and I played it, Troy. We both have fond memories. We both have fond, and they need to stay that way. And what's funny is, who was it? Somebody in chat knows. Somebody last week, when we mentioned an update to Rift, because we had talked about it being dead on the previous show. When we said something about they're bringing this update, somebody last week said, I bet Troy gets back in. I don't know who it was, but somebody did say it last week in chat. Go ahead, Anthony.
Well, first I want to say the bomb to the chat. I really appreciate the love. You guys have contributed a lot to the podcast. I like the comments. Let's keep it going strong. And A-bomb to my schedule and technical difficulties. I always get you.
Always. From the viewers in chat, we've got Terra Nova saying, "Da bomb to Anthony for a great show. Welcome to the madness." To Cal saying, mostly da bomb to Anthony. You're going to have to work off that Final Fantasy 12 take. A-bomb to Richard Glory Days Garriott, but having a spark when he started and now being hot garbage is what I'm going to assume harbage is. I can't help but think of Richard Garriott sitting there, Troy, telling you about the time he scored 4 touchdowns in one football game.
Oh, right.
A la Al Bundy from Married with Children.
The Al Bundy of MMOs.
Old Glory saying, dub bomb to new cast member, welcome, and an A-bomb to Mike for giving us really hard questions of the week. Yeah, last week, not a lot of you answered. You were so busy welcoming Aspen, which I appreciate, and I'm sure she does too. But you got to remember to answer the questions of the week. Wilfredo chiming in, bomb to Anthony and MMO Bomb for bringing new faces to the fold and growing in so many ways. A-bomb to my schedule currently. Yeah, fix your schedule and give me this some times. Zach chiming in. We got a lot of viewers, a lot of guest host viewers today. Zach, thanks for stopping by, guys. Zach saying, A-bomb to Troy for thinking about playing Rift.
A-bomb to myself for thinking about playing Rift.
Absolutely.
The last time we played it on stream, I made it to the main city, and there was one other person.
Steven Stevenson says, bomb for Q, way to step it up this week. I appreciate your solid knowledge, insight, professionalism. Mike is the man. You are the rock. Rock on, Q. So Q getting a little love from chat. Go ahead, Troy.
The Pie Maker, I went to check out what Aspen looked like as a VTuber and ended up watching her clear Abyss Floor 12 for the first time. So congratulations to her. I got inspired and 36-starred the Abyss for the first time. Never commented on this channel before, so I guess dub bomb to Aspen clearing Abyss 12.
Pie Maker, welcome. Your comments are always welcome, all of them. And yeah, make sure you're checking out all of our hosts. That's why we plug everybody's stuff at the end of the show, so that you're not just coming here, you go and check out when they're doing their own stuff, whether it's writing or streaming or playing something else. Go ahead there, Anthony.
Evindo Sean DeMello, watching the stream for the first time and really liked it. Although Twitch has been pretty wonky at times, I can relate. So A-bomb to Twitch for that. The bomb to Aspen for bringing up many interesting viewpoints and as well as being the newest member on the team.
Oh, well, see, newest, they're tied. Anthony and Aspen came on at the same time. Evendo, I believe, is the mod over at Aspen's channel as well. So, Evendo, thank you so much. Welcome. Glad you would check it out, the show. Hope you stick around and check out all the other cool stuff and keep clicking like. We love it. Yami Kami says, DeBombs work starts for me yet again. Also, DeBomb for me not only guessing correctly that Aspen was playing Horde, but also that she was playing a Blood Elf. I mean, come on. She looks like one. Yeah, I totally forgot about Blood Elf when we were trying to guess what she played in WoW. Or I probably would have guessed Blood Elf too. They just escaped my head. Go ahead, Troy.
Richard Raffensperger, first female-dominated cast.
So I had to go back and verify if that had been the case, where the females outnumbered the males on the show. Because we've had many, many females on the show throughout the years. We've had Damina, we've had Zara, we've had I can't remember her name. We had Jasmine, IRL Jasmine has been a guest on the show before, and then obviously in current slate we have Q, we have Aspen. So I had to go back, and technically that comment is correct. There were multiple casts where there were 4 hosts. Kaylin, thank you. Why could I forget? Why? I love Kaylin. I couldn't remember her name. Thank you. There were multiple casts where we had 4 hosts, and I'm not counting anniversary ones, right? Where I have like 9 or 10, like the 400th episode where I have like 9 or 10 hosts. I'm not counting those, just regular episodes. We've had multiple times where there were 4 bacon wrapped pork chops. Yeah, man, that you could tell Wilfredo's a long time MMO bomber with comments like that. Where we had 4 and 2 were male, 2 were female. So nobody dominated. So technically, yes, Richard, you are correct. Mathematically, it was the first show where the females dominated the cast, and we're happy to have it. Happy to have it. Go ahead, Troy.
Corey V, to be fair, Breakpoint was dead a month after launch anyway. With the lack of content they bring out, it was bound to die anyway.
I think I just gave you 2 in a row, but it really doesn't matter.
You did, but
it's all good. Go ahead, Anthony.
Flintstone says, cheers to everyone. Smiley face.
Yeah, Flintstone, I'll tell you what. Chat, I love you, and I love you interacting, but Flintstone is like the #1 commenter on mmobomb.com. Like, I see Flintstone commenting on like everything.
On the
Like
actual site,
everything.
yeah.
On
yeah.
the actual
Flintstone
site,
is
yeah.
everywhere on the actual
Yeah,
site.
so if you are looking for some recognition, you got to get your butt commenting on the site because Flintstone's killing y'all. He's killing y'all. Flintstone's paying the bills. Paying the bills. Question of the week last week, which apparently was a hard question, but I think what happened was you got distracted welcoming a new host, and that's totally fine. I understand. But don't leave me with no answers. I do have a couple. Question of the week last week was the counter to the previous week. I wanted to know who was the best hero or heroine character in MMORPG history and why, since we had done villain the week before. Yami Kami says, question of the week, if only I had considered that I could also name players. There was this rogue player I can't remember the name of on the German server Gul'dan who never left Stormwind and ganked lonely players in the alleyways. But since I am also Horde, I nominate him to be the hero on this week's question. Yeah, somebody gave a player as the villain. It was fantastic. Go ahead, Troy.
Fexon says, question of the week, Super Mario.
I mean, not wrong. I mean, technically speaking, I did say MMORPG history, but I guess not wrong. Who's your favorite good guy, quote, quote, character, Troy, in an MMO?
In the MMOs, me. It's always me. I'm always the chosen one, the great one, the only one who can save the world. Well, me and the other however many players are playing the game at the time. But, it's always me according to the story. So me, I'm my favorite.
Oh, for God's sakes. Go ahead, Anthony. Who's yours?
I would say in recent memory, since I play FF14 a lot, I would say Grahatia.
Oh.
Grahatia is the hero. The best hero, I would say.
I got to put Jaina up there. I mean, not Jaina Shadowlands, because Shadowlands has been pretty awful narratively, but
storytelling,
like past Jaina. Let's do Lich King Jaina. We'll do that. Question of the week this week. It's all for you, Anthony. How do you feel about boosting in MMORPGs? Let us know in the comments below, and let us know if you have dividing lines, like classic, it's not okay. But alts, it's totally okay. Catching up with friends, totally okay. If you have dividing lines, that's fine. Let us know in the comments below. We'll be back, of course, next week, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, without Wilfredo, because his schedule sucks next week. Just get that jab in there. Twist that knife a little bit. We love Wilfredo. I'm sure we'll see him in a couple of weeks here. We'll be back Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern with another episode of the Always Online podcast. Anthony, until then, where could everybody find you, follow you, check out what you're doing and where you're doing it?
Well, as of right now on Twitter, you can follow me at AntJosensWriter. Maybe the next time I'm on here, I might have something else you guys can follow, but I won't say anything just yet. Got some content coming, so I'm gonna see how that goes.
All right, dropping the mystery. Troy, what about you?
Twitter at NoobFridge. Every time I stream or do anything, whether it's MMO Bomb or whatever else I'm doing, it goes through Twitter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there, magicman1, but more importantly, follow at MMO Bomb so that I can tweet at you every time we go live with a podcast, new article, first look video giveaway, or more. Until next week, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers.